Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we return to talking about the HBO talk show Real Time with Bill Maher. And this time, surprisingly enough, we actually have something good to say about our old boy, Billy Boy. It seems like he has at least tried to stand up for free speech in this past week's episode. But at the same time, he was going up against his radical, out-of-control, libtarded audience. An audience which he himself has brought up to be little bratty liberals. Let me explain. This episode of Maher starts off with the usual Trump bashing. He does his little song and dance in the intro and briefly speaks with his first guest, and then he pivots over to the discussion panel, as usual. There they immediately get to talking about treason, a ridiculous claim all the lefties are throwing out nowadays. Similar to them thinking they can impeach Trump over doing nothing. It's all nonsense, of course, so let's move forward. Things really escalate when they bring on the final, extra member of the panel at the end, Adam Conover. We've actually covered Adam and his show, Adam Ruins Everything, a number of times on this channel. He's done all kinds of dumb shit in the past. Things like saying marijuana laws are racist, or being offended by Mount Rushmore, and he even tried to deny that alpha males exist, claiming betas are the new alphas for some reason. Gee, I wonder why this beta boy would be hating on alphas and propping up his fellow betas. It's a real mystery, huh? Sounds like it's pretty self-serving to me, and it also sounds like Adam is just as bad a liberal as Bill Maher, so having these two in the same room here is really a sight to see. Let's go ahead and go over this part of the show, which will lead us to the part where Bill's audience actually cheers on censorship. Check this out.
The conceit of your show is really so smart. Adam ruins everything. And when you say ruins, I relate to that because sometimes I ruin things. It's my job.
Right.
I tried to ruin Mars once because I thought going to Mars was stupid.
I also think it's kind of stupid, yeah.
It's very stupid.
That's because you guys are cucked up betas who don't see the value in science and space exploration. Also, I'll admit, I kind of like the premise of Adam's show too. In fact, Adam Ruins Everything is pretty similar to the setup of my show here, No Bullshit. Both of us call out and expose or ruin things, as Adam says. The major difference though is Adam is left-wing and wrong about everything, and he wears stupid flamboyant suits with a ridiculous hairdo while he does it. I, on the other hand, am always right. I'm right-wing and I'm always accurate too. I also speak the truth, so I don't need the flashy look and all the bells and whistles Adam uses to prop up his left-wing propaganda and lies.
Like labeling fish. I saw you do one night.
Right.
I was like, oh, I once blew the lid off labeling fish.
People are not aware that fish fraud is a rampant problem in America.
Fraud.
It's true. When you go out to a restaurant, especially sushi restaurants, like for instance, white tuna, when you see that on a sushi menu, there's almost never white tuna.
So apparently, according to these dum-dums, fish fraud is more important than science, Mars, or space exploration. Adam and Bill are more worried about the accuracy of the fish in their sushi, over science, technology, and the evolution of our race. Good to know where you stand, guys, I guess. And look here as Adam even sees how ridiculous this is. This line here has him trying to justify it a bit.
Which is, again, not first on my list of things I want to correct about America, but...
It's not on the top of your list of important things, but it is the first issue you and Bill bring up here, which really says a lot. Let's continue on.
And if you look at the menus now, it could just say tilapia, 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 pink tilapia, red tilapia. You know,
exactly. The hell with treason. This is what's important.
Yeah. Another one.
Bill even gets in on the irony here. At least they're a little self-aware, I guess. But that doesn't make them sound any less pompous or arrogant, and a little bougie too. What a first world rich liberal problem, worrying about their fish selections. Their sushi and fine dining is almost more important than science, Mars, and their claims of treason from earlier. And as for the treason part, I think this part shows just how serious that treason claim really was. It wasn't serious, or at least it's as serious as this whole fish fraud story.
I like it when I can actually learn something.
Right.
And what I learned from your show that I never knew, it sort of applies, not to make everything about Donald Trump, but I never knew this before I learned it from you. There is no such thing as the alpha male.
Yeah.
I always believed in the concept of the alpha male.
This is
Yeah, well, there still are alpha males, Bill. You got played, dude. Sorry to break it to you. I even did a whole video debunking Adam's bullshit about this, his anti-alpha tirade. I'll link my full video below if you want to catch up, but basically, Adam says alphas don't exist now based on a technicality. He found some silly loophole related to the original author, which Adam thinks proves alphas don't exist now. But in reality, alpha as a term is a bigger concept, one which goes beyond the specific relations to its origin, coming from animals like wolves, of course. Alpha means you're strong, confident, and likely to be a good leader, like how the alpha dog leads the pack. And this idea doesn't go away because the original author had a change of heart, and it doesn't even go away if Adam is right and there technically are no more alphas. I don't believe that's true, but regardless, alpha is still a concept which exists to this day, now and forever. So in actuality, I think Adam is playing word games here. I think he's trying to diminish the term alpha publicly because he has a chip on his shoulder colder about this topic, probably because Adam likely was bullied by alphas his entire life. It's also worth noting here that a movie called Alpha just came out this weekend, the same day this episode aired live, actually. And I wasn't expecting much from the movie, but Alpha turned out to be pretty damn awesome for what it is. Sure, it's a pretty standard, simple story of a boy getting hurt and finding a dog to help him, but I ended up really enjoying it. And it being set 20,000 years ago in Europe was a really cool thing to watch. Every shot in the movie looks cool as hell too, whether it was because of the ancient setting or the exotic locations, the costumes, or the amazing cinematography. And of course, there's a pet dog called Alpha that comes in halfway through the movie who does a really good job. I think that dog's acting puts Air Bud's acting to shame, if you ask me. So basically, Alpha was a cool as shit movie, and I would recommend seeing it in IMAX 3D like we did. It really makes the great camera work and editing look even more impressive. And it's funny how I didn't even think about this topic for months. And then now, all of a sudden, this Alpha movie comes out the same day that Bill Maher and Adam Ruins Everything are talking about Alpha topics too. Two guys who I've covered on this channel repeatedly, doing a liberal retard crossover, so to speak. It's like a shitty YouTube collab almost. But this is on HBO, and I don't like it. But back to what they were discussing though. Before we move on, I want to talk about how Bill just said he hates to make everything about Trump. I'm not sure if I believe that, buddy. Perhaps Bill hates making everything about Trump, but he sure does seem to do that all the time. My most recent and damning complaint about his show lately has been exactly this. The whole hour is about Trump at this point, every week. Every interview, panelist, segment, and topic point ties back to hating on Trump somehow. And many would call this a symptom of the Trump derangement syndrome as well. These liberals are so triggered they can't control themselves anymore. And I guess Bill is surrounded by too many yes men who won't call him out on this either. Well, they won't call you out, but I will, Bill. Bill, hey, Mr. Maher, your Trump derangement syndrome has derailed your show. And this is coming from a former, longtime fan too. I've watched all your old stuff, your stand-up specials, your original politically incorrect show. I've even seen your other work in film and in documentaries. I watched Religulous. You've got great work you've done, Bill, I'll admit it. But lately, this Trump stuff is getting a little out of hand. Your show is more negative and it's harder to watch now. And most importantly, you're not as funny anymore. So quit pretending you're some sort of political activist and remember this. You're a comedian, Bill. You're here to make us laugh. You're not an advisor to the king. You're a court jester at best. And there's nothing wrong with that either. Just embrace it. Because this new Bill who looks like he's getting too big for his britches here, he really needs to stop.
One of the most pernicious pseudoscientific ideas that's out there. Whole, especially like, internet, like sort of these crazy men's rights people have like made whole bodies of like philosophical thought based on, well, there's two types of men, there's alphas and there's betas. And like alphas get all the women and they have all the success and betas are, me. But
Adam jokingly admits he's a beta, without noticing at all that this makes him hella biased here. And perhaps I'm biased too. I mean, I am alpha as fuck after all, but there's a big difference. You see, I'm not the one trying to deny science here and reverse years of discourse and discussion on the topic. Adam is the one trying to claim alpha isn't a thing anymore because he's biased against it. And me, on the other hand, I'm just sitting here saying, no, dude, you're way wrong. Alpha is a term people use for confident guys, and there's not much you can say or do to make that not true anymore. But I don't want to get too bogged down on this alpha issue either. Let's go ahead and skip to the main part, the main topic in line we want to discuss today.
So I want to talk about free speech for a minute because Alex Jones is thrown off Twitter, I think, and Facebook and a few other platforms. I think he's going to...
Thank God!
Well, if you're a liberal, you're supposed to be for free speech. That's free speech for the speech you hate. That's what free speech means. We're losing the thread.
And there you have it. Bill is actually spot on here. If only the rest of his show could be this lucid and on point. Liberals are losing the thread. They are going further and further to the extreme, to the point where this audience is cheering on the censorship of Alex Jones. Granted, this crowd was never that bright to begin with, sure. Many probably remembered the reaction when Ann Coulter said Trump had the best chance of winning the presidency back in 2015.
And which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Of the declared ones, right now, Donald Trump.
That reaction didn't age too well, did it? And as for the audience applauding Alex Jones getting censored, that's probably just as embarrassing. Like Bill said, the left is supposed to be about free speech. They're the anti-exclusivity party, pro-diversity, and they're all about being who you want to be. And speaking your mind should be part of that too. But apparently it's not okay to speak your mind if you're not a liberal. And in my opinion, Alex Jones didn't do nothing. Sure, he's an over-the-top eccentric guy who has certainly made some wild claims before, and some crazy conspiracy videos too, but to take him off of all social social media at the same time, that's clearly some bullshit. That's also what I would call collusion, too. Screw that Russia collusion noise, that made-up bullcrap, get that out of here. When I think collusion, I'm talking about the coordinated removal of Alex Jones from all social media at the same time, right before the midterm elections, too. That's the real collusion going on in America right now. It's not Trump and Republicans secretly working with Russia. It's liberal-run tech monopolies openly working together to shut down conservative voices. And Alex Jones isn't alone either. Countless other conservative-leaning anti-SJW figures have been kicked off of social media platforms for years now. Milo Yiannopoulos comes to mind, or Gavin McKinnock, or Sargon of Akkad, or James Alsop. They've even tried to take down me, myself, on a number of occasions. One platform or another have done this shit to us over and over again, whether it was on Facebook, Twitter, or right here on YouTube. But these synchronized, coordinated attacks are a bit newer. Sure, they tried to silence Andrew Anglin and the Daily Stormer last August in a coordinated effort, but now they're going after the much bigger, less fringe, almost mainstream Alex Jones. And he undoubtedly had some major influence in the last US election. Trump even appeared on the Alex Jones show a couple times. And now the entire left-wing tech company Gestapo is trying to unperson Alex a few months before our next election? Coincidence? I think not. What I think's really going on is the liberals realize they can't win the hearts and minds of the people anymore, and they won't be able to win elections or anything if they play it fair and square. That's why Zuckerberg at Facebook is teaming up with Jack at Twitter, who just had an interview where he admitted Twitter was left-leaning just a few days ago. Zuck and Jack and all the other communist tech companies in Silicon Valley, they're ready to take this next election no matter what the cost. And apparently the radical lefties in the public, like the ones in the audience at Bill Maher's show, they're cheering on this censorship, not unlike how they've been letting Antifa get away with violence and intimidation for years now.
If you care about the real American shit or you don't, and if you do, it goes for every side. I don't like Alex Jones, but Alex Jones gets to speak. Everybody gets to speak.
Sure, but he doesn't necessarily get to speak on Facebook or Twitter.
No, I get that.
If a guy goes out...
Can't believe we got a guy actually defending censorship here. He says, sure, Alex Jones gets to speak, just not on Facebook or Twitter, the two biggest public forums in the world. Give me a break. That's like saying someone has the right to speak, just not in their city's limits. They have to speak outside of town where no one can hear you. Now, I know lefties like to make the private company argument here, and sure, Facebook has the right to delete any account it wants, but I think it might be time to change that rule somehow. These tech companies have already proven time and time again that they're power-hungry little bitches who won't play fair either. They're using their platforms and their banning rights to silence their opposition. And that's why, in my opinion, when companies get as large as Facebook or Twitter, and after they've shown they can't be trusted, they should be declared public spaces or something. Especially the American companies where we have government jurisdiction. Not to sound too big government or anything, but I think it's time something was done to fix these assholes. Or at least scare them enough to start playing fair again. And it's times like these where I really miss Tom and MySpace. Tom never banned anyone for hate speech. And Tom didn't show political bias and push issues either. Poor guy. I really miss Tom now. I hope he's still doing okay. In the end, Bill actually got some points with me at the end here. Things started off rocky with that whole liberal lol-cow crossover with Adam Ruins Everything, but in the end, Bill did stand up for free speech. And that's the right thing to do, which everyone should be doing. Shame on his audience for becoming so dense and so radical and hateful that they're cheering on taking away someone's freedom of speech. This is almost as bad as the Nazis who danced at the book burnings. And they're trying to say conservatives are the fascists. Please. What do you guys think? Is Bill Maher's show worse than ever? Was Adam right about alphas not being a real thing? And what do you think about the crowd cheering on censorship? Comment your thoughts on everything below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. See y'all next time.